So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nobel, and today I'm speaking with Ahlmeirah Ariel Hallaire on becoming multidimensional, Lightbody Integration. So, Ahlmeirah was born in France and raised in Ireland, where she qualified as a medical doctor in 1994, practicing in Dublin. And some years later, she changed completely and set up the Centre of Love and Enlightenment as a vehicle to support the Ascension process and to bring in the frequencies of unity consciousness. Ahlmeirah works intuitively to heal emotional, ancestral and mental programming. She is the author of a manual for walk-ins, and she developed and channeled divine healing master keys in cooperation with a team of other experienced healers. She offers Lightbody Integration sessions to facilitate the soul's awakening, and she lives in Surrey with her son. Hi, Ahlmeirah.
Hi there, Steve.
Well, we know there's this ascension process going on, and there's an old game of separation that's been played out a long time is ending. Can you talk about that game of separation? How is it set up, and how is it being dismantled?
Well, it was set up when humanity came into being, I guess, and I see it from the perspective of the source, or all that is, wanting to experience what it would be like to be not itself. And so as a result of this desire, this third dimension was created where we experience the illusion as humans that we are limited, that we are small, that we are disconnected from our vastness. And this creates a whole load of different levels of programming. For example, we feel abandoned by the divine, and then that percolates through our other relationships. We feel unworthy of the divine, and so we don't trust ourselves, and we feel small, and we mistrust the divine. So that also means we don't trust ourselves. So basically the game of separation is formed on these three basic programs. Pretty much every program that humans have, you can trace back to one of these three. And it's all an illusion, really, that we're small, limited human beings who are playing this game, and we're walking around and feeling lost and confused, and we've forgotten how powerful we are, and we've forgotten how amazing we are, and we've forgotten all our amazing gifts. And my work pretty much is about reminding people of who they really are, and Lightbody work is a very powerful tool that reawakens you by clearing some of these things that have been put in place to create that illusion.
So there's a new game in town, isn't it? And that new game in town which ends the old game. What is this new game?
Well, at the moment we're in complete transition. So it looks a bit chaotic on the outside. But if you look around at what's happening in the world, first of all, the internet is making sure that what was previously held secret, so what the governments did and what the institutions did, a lot of it was held secret. That's no longer secret. So there's loads and loads of information out there basically about how we are being controlled and manipulated and etc. and abused in many cases. So for example, I grew up in Ireland, and the clergy have been abusing children for centuries. It was just hidden, nobody knew about it. But in the last 20-30 years it's all come out in the open. So people are waking up to the fact that, we've basically been fed a whole load of lies.
Yeah. So
as a result of that, then you lose confidence in the system. And then you look inwards and you wonder, well, what is it that I can trust? So there's a whole lot of people waking up at the moment who are gradually questioning all these things that we thought were, verbatim. And as a result, there's a whole new group of beings waking up and who are going to make change, and they are beginning to make change. I'm particularly inspired by the young generation because since 1987, the kids who are born, they don't have any etheric crystals. Etheric crystals are a bunch of things in your head mostly that basically keep you asleep. And so you see a lot of the young kids and they're so awake, you look in their eyes and you can see they remember. For example, there's that young man, I can't remember his name, he's created a program to clean up the oceans. And I was watching one of his interviews recently, and it's really clear looking in his eyes, he's completely aware.
Well, one of the game aspects, I think, is this multidimensionality thing we talked about. The title is Becoming Multidimensional. What does it mean that we can access a multidimensional realities? What does that mean?
Well, it means that basically you have access to much more than you are in the third dimension. If you're unidimensional, you're just functioning in a third dimension, which is basically being fed by whatever your parents taught you, whatever the system taught you. And, the program is basically work, get old, and die.
Yeah.
When you start opening up to your multidimensional nature, you start realizing that there's a lot more out there, and there's a lot more to being human. So, for example, your perceptions open up, your intuition opens up, and once your intuition opens up, you can't be held in the game anymore, because you can tell when lies are being told. So, for example, if I watch the news, I can tell the people on TV when they're lying. It's really obvious to me. And so, of course, then you can't get looped in at that level. And I can tell when they're trying to promote fear, because that's actually, the whole game is based on fear. And we stay in the program if we still believe in those lies that create fear, if you like. So becoming multidimensional basically means that you unhook from this game, and that you start stepping into your power as this creator, because we're all incredibly powerful creators, but we've forgotten it.
Let me ask you the next aspect of this, which is light-body integration. You've touched on it briefly when you talked about etheric crystals, but what does it mean, light-body integration?
Well, there's many different definitions for the word light body. Many people call the energy bodies that we have, around the physical body, they call them the light bodies. I have a different definition for light body. From my perspective, the energy bodies are more fourth dimensional, and the light body is a fifth dimensional body of light, which act as an intermediary between your original divine blueprint, which sits in the sixth dimension. And your original divine blueprint basically holds your highest possibility in this lifetime. So it holds your vision of what you're here to do at the highest level. And basically what's happening with humanity is that the original divine blueprint, which is also called the Adam Kadmon, is sending down pulses of light, and that goes through the light body and then into the crown chakra. And then people start having uncomfortable awakening symptoms. They start getting funny, weird, fluey feelings that only last a few hours, or funny aches and pains, or their memory goes and then it comes back, or their perceptions change. Lots of different weird symptoms. Often they go to the doctor and the doctor doesn't know how to make head or tail from this. And basically the Lightbody Integration is a series of usually six sessions, which relieves the blocks that have been placed in the light body. And those blocks have been put in place to create the illusion that we are small and limited. So very briefly, the first level is about working with the body consciousness. The body consciousness is basically programmed at the moment in most humans to fight the light. So it will do everything it can to distract you from the light, to distract you from your meditation. When you go and sit down, it'll put thoughts in your head. Oh, what about a slice of cake? Oh, how about watching that on TV? That kind of stuff. And when you do the body consciousness realignment process, basically you no longer have this kind of inner fight. So that creates a big shift. And some people have spontaneous healing of chronic diseases or of chronic addictions as a result of that session. It's not that the session is for healing, it's that you get healing as a side effect. The next session is about removing etheric crystals, which are mostly in the head and upper body, which act as energy limiters to prevent spirit and higher abilities from coming online, like telepathy, clairaudience, clairvoyance, being able to open the heart multidimensionally. In that session, we also remove these structures called divinity threshold, which are held mostly in the lower body. And as their name suggests, they prevent you from bringing spirit into your lower body. So you always feel a little bit off balance, a little bit ungrounded. The session after that is about removing an energy being, which is called an ethylene. And every human is born with one of these. It's a fourth dimensional being, and it's held in place by two vows. And basically the job of this Nephilim is to hold the person back. So it's like this dark voice. Some people are conscious of it, most people aren't. And often when you remove the Nephilim, the person makes a huge jump in consciousness. They start to open up. The next session is removing energy devices and implants, which are mostly fourth dimensional. A lot of these come from past lives. So, for example, if you've been a warrior in a previous life, you might be wearing some kind of energy armor, which the armor will do two things. It will make you feel that you're protected, but it will also draw attack to you. So removing those energy devices and implants really raises your frequency quite dramatically and frees up your energy, because some of the energy devices block specific qualities. So, for example, there's an energy device that blocks angelic beings from remembering that they are angelics. And in this day and age, actually quite a few angelics incarnate. But because of this energy device that they have on them, they completely forget that they're angelics, and they think that they're just small, limited little human beings. And the last two devices, the last two sessions are about recalibrating the light body, which is, as I said, this intermediary body. So that means when you recalibrate the light body, it means a lot more higher frequency from your oversoul and from the original divine blueprint can start flowing through you, and you get much more connected to your real purpose in this life. And then the last session is an activation session, and that pretty much wakes up parts of you that were very dormant. So a lot of people, as a result of Lightbody, will have, first of all, there's a relief of lots of symptoms, a big one. People, when they're ready for Lightbody work, will experience a long list of very uncomfortable mutational symptoms. So there's the relief of symptoms. There's often a lot of spontaneous healing that arrives on the side. So that can be even like a relief of a chronic disease. You know, I've had a lady who had ulcerative colitis. Second session of Lightbody, that was it. No more ulcerative colitis. A lot of people drop addictions, which is pretty major, obviously. And a lot of people get a much stronger confidence in themselves. They open up hidden perceptions, you know, like the psychic perceptions. And they get a much stronger sense of who they are. They're much more centered in themselves, so they don't let themselves be walked all over by the system.
Mm.
So it's quite a process.
How long does this process take individually, each session? How long are we talking about?
Well, in practice, it's about 6 2-hour sessions. And those sessions can be spaced out, you know, appropriately according to the person. I've occasionally done it in a hurry because there's a few Lightbody illnesses that can be sorted when you do the Lightbody work really quickly. But most of the time people like to do it maybe one session a month or one session every 2 weeks, because then that gives them time to integrate.
All of this information on all of the sessions are on your website. So do check out centerofloveandenlightenment.net and check out the Lightbody Integration menu button, and you'll find out all about all the individual sessions. So Ahlmeirah, what about training? People who want to train in this, what are the prerequisites for that?
Well, it's a very advanced training, so I do have some prerequisites. I ask that everybody has received those basic 6 Lightbody sessions. I also ask that they have trained in some form of multidimensional healing. And for most people, that means having trained in Divine Healing Master Key. It's a very powerful tool for clearing. And the reason I ask for this is because the training is so high frequency that it pushes up a lot of stuff during the sessions, the training sessions, and in between. And if you don't have a tool that you can work, you can get really overwhelmed, and it can basically sabotage your training.
What about people who want sessions? I guess there are a number of practitioners they could find.
Absolutely, yes. We've been training quite a few practitioners over the years, worldwide. So they're available in the UK, in the US. There's a couple now in Japan even. And also these sessions can be done, you know, on Zoom or Skype. So it's fine you don't have to be in person.
All right. And where would they find information on all the various practitioners?
I guess if you put in Lightbody Integration into Google, it'll come up.
Okay, that sounds pretty straightforward. There are people definitely in the UK I know about, I think in America, other places. I know you're going to be doing training in Japan.
Yes. Well, actually my business is extremely international. So, you know, I've got a Russian lady on my training course at the moment. I know there's a couple in France. Let's see. There's going to be a lady in Slovakia soon ready as well.
Right. All right.
Yeah, quite broad.
Well, Ahlmeirah, thank you so much for chatting with me today, and all the best in your work. I know you do some great work.
Thank you, Steve. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.